He should be here in...
He is outside the studio. I can see him.
Who is?
Monsieur Haye.
Oh, here he is. Right. Come in. Before we start your call, come in. How are you? Limping? Sit down. Sit down there. There you go. How's the toe?
It's been better.
Has it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Put the headphones on. Are you ready to do it, bro?
Let's roll.
Yeah, let's go. What happened?
I got beat by a guy who's very consistent, very strong, very good at what he does, and I'm gutted.
We all are.
Yeah. I gave it my best, but obviously, unfortunately, my best wasn't good enough, and that's a bitter pill to swallow. You know, especially after all the big talk and the hype, and go out there and not be able to produce the goods. You know, seeing I've produced the goods for so many years now, and then finally in such a big fight, not being able to do it was really, really frustrating. Especially when I was in there, I could see the shots I wanted to land, but I was unable to land them, and that really was right gutter.
And you've got such an amazing record as a cruiserweight. Are you worried that reputation will count for nothing now?
It doesn't go as far as say it amount to nothing. Those fights were still won. But as they say in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight, and my last fight was a loss, and that's tough, because I've dedicated my whole life to this sport, and getting in such a huge heavyweight title fight, really sort of capturing the public's imagination, and I've never been around a fight that big before. So many people, so many great fans travelled over to Germany to support me, and it feels like I've let a lot of people down.
George is here, Rachel's here, and also Fiona Phillips to talk about care for the elderly. So you want to pitch in a question, Fiona?
I was just thinking how small you are. You don't look like a heavyweight. You're gorgeous, you're fit, but you look small. You don't
That's the first thing everyone always says to me, you're not that big, are you? I'm like, yeah, okay.
That was part of the problem.
Is that what Klitschko said to you as well?
You couldn't get to it.
He's a proper, if you saw him, you'd say he was big.
Well, he's 2 stone heavier than you.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and he's athletic, and he was just that little bit too far away from me.
It was his reach, wasn't it? I mean, you just couldn't get anywhere near him.
It was very, very awkward to be in there. Normally when I've been able to find a way to get to someone, I landed a good few shots, but just not enough to. Was
there at any point with a couple of absolute belters you landed?
Yeah.
Either of those times you thought he could be wobbling here?
He was hurt. He was shook up. I could see it in his face, but I just couldn't continue. I wasn't able to keep landing, consistently like I'd have needed to get the win. And it was really. The only thing I can say, it was frustrating when I was in there, knowing what you want to do, but just not being able to quite get it. In other fights, I found a way, whatever it was, found a way to win. But for this case, it wasn't the situation.
Is his reach just too big? Is he just too strong? Is he too tall for you? I mean, how could you beat him?
I believe on my night. I believe if I was 100% and things worked as smoothly as I wanted them to, I could beat him. He didn't surprise me. I always knew he was as good as he is. There was nothing that he did in there that I wasn't expecting to do, that I hadn't anticipated in training. It's just I couldn't quite, I was 2 or 3 inches away from being where I needed to land the big bombs.
10,000 fans, I think, went over.
At least
I
think there's a lot more than that.
And the whole spectacle was unbelievable. I don't watch boxing that much, but it was jaw-dropping. And you say, there was a lot of jostling at the beginning. The atmosphere. What was it like? The atmosphere inside.
It was mental. I've never experienced that in a boxing match or any sort of event. That many people, that passionate, going that crazy. It was tough getting to the ring. Obviously when you're fighting on foreign soil, when you're fighting. Someone in their hometown, that they set things up to make things awkward for you. I was kind of anticipating that, in my mind I accepted, okay, they're going to try a few little moves here and there, and I tried to ignore all that stuff, coming to the ring, they maybe walk through the crowd. I've never seen that before in a fight. A fight, normally you walk down like he walked into the ring through like a barricaded area where he doesn't get bothered by anyone. I had to walk literally through.
Doesn't that psych you up?
Not when they're stamping all over your feet.
We're nervous.
No, I wasn't nervous at all. Not one bit nervous. I wasn't nervous at all.
Your camp, I mean, we've learned this morning that your camp obviously is very unhappy about certain aspects of that, both what you say about the jostling, the lack of security perhaps, but also I think that the doctor at the stadium, the painkiller they were going to give you might have meant you failed at a doping test as well.
That's why we're on the ball, because if you're fighting in a foreign country, you've got to expect the worst. So if you're asking their doctor, asking for a medicine from their doctor, you've got to expect whatever they're giving you is not what you want. And it was ephedrine, I think it was,
because
which is a banned
world
substance.
Of boxing.
Yeah, so I would have taken that, and I would have failed my drug test, and they said, "Oh, you're a drugs cheat," and I'd have been banned. But obviously, you actually read the label, ephedrine. Okay, this is a banned substance. I shouldn't take this. Little things like that, throughout the whole course of the.
So is your camp going to make some kind of complaint about this?
The result is the result, and it's irrelevant. It's all academic now. It's one of those things.
Have a listen to what Frank Warren's been saying.
Oh, Frank Warren loves me.
Listen. Wait. Well, listen.
My arch enemy, Frank Warren. Yeah.
You and Frank.
Yeah.
Like that. Here's what Frank said.
You're a world champion. You go out and you try and win the fight, and he didn't. It was just negative tactics from round one, and it's just crybaby stuff after the event. Before the fight, I thought some of the things he was saying was bad, and I think it just continues on. There seems to be graceless.
What's your problem with Frank? Frank's problem with you then?
Frank Warren, when I fought Enzo Maccarinelli, he was so confident that his fight Enzo Maccarinelli would beat me. He said if I beat Enzo Maccarinelli, that he'd retire from boxing. He retired from the boxing industry. Well, I knocked him out in 2 rounds, and he didn't retire. And since then he's every time he's had an opportunity to stick the boot in, he has done. And I expect nothing less. When someone hypes the fight up, when someone talks as much trash talk as I do, when it doesn't go your way, you have to expect to get people to put the boot in. And that's why I'm coming here today. Feel free to have a pop at me, because I give it the big talk, and I talk the talk, and on Saturday night I didn't walk the walk, so you got to take the rough with the smooth.
All credit to you for fronting it in that.
Yeah, you have to do it. It's the only way you can do it. You can't just take the accolades when it's going well. When it isn't going well, when it doesn't go your way, you got to take your lumps.
Great looking guy, a lot of personality. You don't spoil it all by boxing too long, will you? You're going to knock it on the head now?
We'll see. Vladimir's made 2 statements saying, first he will give me a rematch, and then his manager said he wouldn't give me a rematch. If there's a potential rematch in there, then I'd obviously, if the guy's beating me, I'd love the opportunity to challenge for his titles. I came to the table with a title. I don't have a title anymore. I'm titleless. So every boxer wants the opportunity to fight for the unified title, and fighting him would bring that. And it's just I'm sort of I'm at their mercy at the moment.
Well, I heard his manager yesterday on 5 Live, funnily enough, and he doesn't like you at all. He said you were coming out with trash talk because you were saying that about your toe.
The one thing you got to remember, as much as he doesn't like me, his fighters earned 5 times more than he's ever earned before in his life.
What did you earn from the fight?
I don't know. We've got to wait until the numbers come back
10 million purse or something.
It's not whatever it is. It'll be not bad for a night's work.
I'll tell you what,
Sky will have to refund all the people who couldn't watch it on their HD channel, though. Won't
Yeah,
they?
I heard a lot of people got upset about that.
I'll tell you what, I go in with Klitschko for a purse of 10 million. Absolutely.
David, you want a rematch?
You'd be allowed to spend it.
Yeah.
Dodgy toe or no dodgy toe?
Yeah, exactly.
You want a rematch?
I'd
But it's not. You get beaten like that. It's not likely that you're going to get a rematch, is it?
In boxing, anything's possible. And if once the numbers come in, and he realises what he generated, and he realises there's no other fighter other than myself in the heavyweight division that could generate as much hype and as much interest as me, then maybe he'll come back and say, okay, I'll give you. Because the one thing he said is he'd knock me out. He promised everybody he would knock me out. He'd give me a lesson. He'd knock me out. He'd send me. But he didn't do that. He hit me with his best shots, and he couldn't put me down. And he's a lot bigger than me. And he said that he'd love it. He really wished that he'd knock me out, but he couldn't do it. So maybe he'd want the opportunity to knock me out and finish my career.
But that's not going to be, even if that happens, or Vitali's brother. It's not going to be before October when you plan to retire.
That's in 3 months and a bit.
So you're going to have to shelve your retirement plans, aren't you, for a bit?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Right.
Anything's possible in boxing.
Finally, how is it? Can we see it?
Yeah, you can see it. You can be the doctor.
I'll tell you what. Let's have a look. Which one is it? That one's broken, right?
No. Have a look.
Which one's broken? That one or that one? Oh, that one. Oh,
this is going on Twitter, isn't it, Nicky?
Oh. Yeah. You put them in a light a bit. The photograph there.
Can I just explain to the audience while Nicky's doing this? David is wearing flip-flops.
Easy for you to say.
Flip-flops at the moment. Right. We had loads of people texting us this morning saying they'd broken their toe and telling us about the things they'd done with a broken toe.
I did 12 rounds with a world unified heavyweight champion. That ain't bad, is it?
That is the point we made at the end of it all. So, no, don't worry. We stood up for you.
Right, well, I'll polish that to the world very shortly. Thank you very much for
no problem.
Thank you very much for coming in. We're doing a Your Call at the moment. Should your parents have to sell their home to pay for their care in old age? Do you have any views on that? If not, you may go.
I'm off.
All right, Fiona.